Hey y'all, what's up? It's your boy Evan here. Welcome to the Cartoon Block, and today we're going to be reviewing the XP Pen Artist 22E Pro pen display. Let's check it out. So first of all, I want to thank the good people at XP Pen for sending me the Artist 22E Pro pen display for review. So let's get into the unboxing section. So I like how they packaged it very well, and just opening it up, we have the box. I'm sure that's full of accessories and cables, and then just continuing on, taking out the monitor, and the monitor is a nice size. I just like how it's very secured in the box, so I don't anticipate any problems with the display or anything being damaged, hopefully. Coming, just first impressions out of the packaging is just a nice big pen display. And kind of see it has some kind of like a film on the cover, and just messing around with the stand, and looks pretty decent. You know, there you have it. So let's jump into it. Let's start with the glove, and it's the Michael Jackson glove. With the mini DVI to the HDMI cable, the VGA cable, I'm not sure who uses that old technology anymore, the power cable, at least the first half of the power cable that we have here, the HDMI cable, you will need this, boys and girls, then the USB cable, that's necessary, and then we have the other half of the power cable, and then we have two stylus charging cords. I guess one you can travel with and one to leave at home. And we have the stylus themselves. And XP was kind enough to give us an additional one as a free gift. So the main one is in here in the stylus compartment canister. I guess that's the name for it, if you will. And then we can see that there's also at the underside of it, there is 8 extra nibs. So I'm sure that these will come in handy later on at some point for sure, because nibs do have a point of being worn out. And then also in the packaging in the box, you can see there's the pen display manual along with some other goodies. But just first impressions of this pen display, I'm impressed. It looks really nice. The construction of it looks very durable and sturdy and just all around professional. I haven't come across any other Cintiq alternatives so far that look this good. Now let's get into installing the driver. But I must stress at this point, before you decide on purchasing or thinking about getting the XP Pen 22E Pro, please first make sure you visit their website, look at their drivers to make sure that you have the latest and greatest operating system for your device. I personally spent over an hour, close to 2 hours, downloading and upgrading my MacBook Pro to the latest operating system. So it was a hassle, but that was my fault. I didn't have the latest operating system. But once you download the driver, please open up the Pen Tablet app on your device. And as you can see, with the updated operating system, the driver updated flawlessly. I had no issues with the driver itself, and you can adjust the pen pressure of your stylus, and here on this side you can go ahead and program the 2 buttons on your stylus. And when we have that all set, you can go to the monitor tab, and once again, please, very important to choose the Artist 22E Pro from the drop down arrow on this monitor tab. And then we can go to Express keys, which you have 16 of them, you know, to go ahead and program, which is very cool. And the most commonly used tools that you'll be using, of course, will be like the drawing pen tool, like the brush tool, and so forth. But you can program all 16 keys for whichever, you know, frequently used tools that you choose. Calibration, well, right out the box, the screen is already calibrated, but you can go ahead and calibrate it yourself if you choose to. But these are just the tabs and options that you have when you first install the driver. Now moving on to the cables, we want to go ahead and plug in the HDMI, the power cable, and the USB cable. Next, you want to go ahead and plug your USB and HDMI cables directly into your desktop or laptop computer. Otherwise, if you have the Thunderbolt 3 or USB-C connection on some of the newer computers nowadays, go ahead and get this USB-C to digital AV adapter directly from Apple. Don't get a knockoff brand because they don't work. And now we want to go ahead and look at the stand. I have to say the stand is very easy to use. I just only using one hand, you can simply adjust it super low, midway, or high. It doesn't require two hands, you know, to move the stand at all. So that's one thing I am thankful for the designers of XP Pen for doing. Then you want to go ahead and charge your stylus. The stylus will take 2 hours to charge, taking it out of the box. And here I'm making some fine tuning, you know, options on what brushes and what controls I want to put on my hotkeys. And these can always be changed at any point. You don't have to feel like you're being, you know, these are permanent settings. And just starting out, the pen, it has good pressure sensitivity. So I'm playing with the pen and brushes and using the programmable button on the stylus itself and going from eraser to pen tool and brush. And it has good, just nice strokes that every artist wants. Very sharp, thick strokes. And these aren't any special brushes that I have. These are just some of the brushes that come with Photoshop with, you know, some modifications on them. And just as you can see, just light strokes gives you light lines. Pressing down gives you thicker lines. And sketching for me is super easy. It's organic. I'm just naturally a loose and messy sketcher. And here I can manipulate the brush size using the hotkeys and to get different size brush strokes. And then that combined with the pressure sensitivity on the screen, the display responds very nicely to the pressure I applied to the stylus. So I can go between, you know, different sizes of my brush, and then also the responsive time of the screen, you know, how it responds to the marks that I put down is very quick. So here I'm going to go ahead and work on doing some storyboards. This is how I naturally work when I do storyboards. I have my panel already up and I'm just super loose and messy. I won't get too in-depth with doing a full detailed drawing, but this is how most artists begin doing their storyboards. We first want to lay down a gesture drawing, and with that you don't have to worry about, you know, being super precise. Just put down something that will give you the general pose of the character. And for me, that will be like a very loose under construction. Then from there I can go onto a separate layer with, you know, a thicker pen, and the stylus does a very good job at increasing my pen pressure and just giving me a thicker line. Here I can put down more confident lines, and the ease of the hotkeys being on the side, I can use my left hand to adjust the keys as I need to increase my brush size, decrease my brush size, to go back and forth between pen, brush, or eraser. And that's very convenient. Or if you are left-handed, drawing with your left hand, then you can use your right hand to manipulate the keys on the right side of the pen display. So right off the bat, it does a very good job at switching back and forth between different drawing tools, different size brushes, and for my purposes, for doing quick sketching, it's great. Doing character designs, it's very important that I do have good control over the stylus and can quickly move back and forth between, you know, pencil and pen and brush and different shades of colors and brush sizes. So if you're considering, you know, this XP pen, look into it. And as you can see here, I want to go ahead and just manipulate more of the brushes. And one thing I do want to mention too is the parallax. The parallax, you know, refers to the distance between the stylus where it touches the screen and where the cursor moves. The parallax is not bad at all on this display. Some cheaper alternatives usually have awful parallax where your pointer, your cursor is miles away from your nib, but that's not here. And it's very good. Now, when it comes to certain brush sizes, I can sketch very quick and loose with thinner brush lines. The screen is very responsive. But when I switch to a thicker brush size and still do my heavy, you know, quick brushes and quick brush strokes, well, it takes the processor a while to go ahead and catch up to what I'm doing. And the matte screen is great. You will get a duller, more subdued color tone on your screen and a little bit more, you know, washed out colors, but that's a give when you go ahead and work with matte screens. Matte screens allow you to have that extra tooth and texture when you are drawing, which kind of resembles real paper. And as you can see, if you look closely here, I kind of wore out this nib a lot. Hence why they give you 8 extra nibs in the beginning then. Overall, this is a great product for the price that it is. It's great for beginners on up to intermediate and pros. If I had my wish, I would like to see on next year's model if they could put the eraser on the end of the stylus like we would naturally use when we're using a regular pencil. But overall, this is a great bang for the buck. It currently retails at $499, and I highly recommend it if you don't want to plunk down the money for a $2,500 Cintiq. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll check you later. Peace.